Hello everybody and welcome to Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm currently in the Bulgarian Mall in Sofia. I landed about an hour ago, went to see my mate's apartment, which we'll see later. He's currently in the Wi-Fi shop setting up his apartment because I'm currently staying at his place while he's studying in his country. And now he's going to show me around the town and we're going to have an explore, have some food, and you'll come along with us. I am now at Sofia's National Palace of Culture, which is a nice big theatre where they have shows. I am now back on my own, travelling around the city. Atika's gone back to his flat, waiting for the Wi-Fi man, which is good, but it's a nice place to stay. Over on the left here, my left, we have the glorious mountains in the background. It's such a nice city, surrounded by these lovely high mountains, which I wish I could climb. I don't have the time nor the know-how to get up to those mountains, sadly. But it's a lovely place. This is the most communist-styled building country I've been to. I thought Kazakhstan was Soviet era. This is still stuck in the 80s pretty much. They've got all modern infrastructure, but the actual architecture is still stuck in the 80s. Like the bins are abandoned steel pipes. But it is a lovely country so far, a lovely city. And now I'm heading on to the next destination.
Attention, les trains de la ligne 4 ne marquent pas l'arrêt à la station Gare du Nord jusqu'au mardi 12 juin, à la station Châtelet jusqu'au jeudi 29 mars.
So right now I'm at Serdica 2 metro station, and this metro station is built on and around the ruins of Serdica, the original Roman town area that was originally here. Now if you have a look, built also on top of it is a medieval Orthodox church dating back to the early medieval period, built here to St. Petka. And if you carry on over to here, over in the background, you can see you have Sofia Mosque. And then down here you have the remains of the amphitheatre of the Petka amphitheatre. So this was used by the Romans for shows. Serdica, ancient Serdica complex, Roman city, part of an amphitheatre, part of houses, part of just general day-to-day Roman life. We are still going through the Serdica complex. So the first part is by the amphitheatre. You can hear the trains and the trams both below us and above us. See around, we have some houses here. This here would have been a house in the ancient Roman city. And then you go past the theatre and these houses, and it just keeps on going. And it's just part of the metro system, just connected to the station, and you can just walk into it. Here we have a magistrate's house. This is where the magistrate of the Roman town would have presided. And you carry on down to here. It's like quite a large area that they've created. They've excavated, they've preserved. These are slightly older buildings, these ones here. These are built just after the Roman period, the 5th and the 6th AD, the centuries. 5th and 6th centuries AD. These would have been Dark Ages, late Roman time. I've now found the museum for the region of Sofia, so let's go have a look inside. So now you have gone round, I just went around the museum. You'll see the videos. So a lot of interesting history here. I didn't realise it was such an interesting place. I knew Plovdiv was old, but I didn't realise Sofia was just as old. Obviously, it was originally Roman, and then obviously during the medieval period, they exchanged hands between being independent and being part of the Ottoman Empire or being part of Russia. Large different families, as usual with European history. Somehow there were German monarchs ruling this area at some point, purely because someone told them to, or through blood or marriage. Lots of interesting cultural changes, like pottery, and there was just a lot of history in there, and there's a lot more to learn and do. There's a large part of this country's history has to do with its Orthodox heritage, being part of the Orthodox Church. There's lots of martyrs and saints here. So obviously you have the conflict between like Turkey and other Middle Eastern countries coming over to Europe, trying to invade, the conflict between Muslim and Christianity back then. But that's a large part of their history, and it's really interesting. A lot of their history is surrounded by them being part of the Orthodox Church, especially in the medieval period. And yeah, it's a lovely building as well. It was very nice. So now let's head over to find some more of the large churches that make up this city skyline. Here we have the National Assembly of Sofia. It is a major government office. I'm not sure whether it's the actual government building here or not. However, it's a very impressive building nonetheless. And what's most interesting about this building is you're coming from this building, and if you didn't have Google Maps, you'd never know what was through that arch. Here, let me go show you. So, as I was saying, we just crossed the road from the National. We come through these arches here. And you will come across the Rotunda Church, the Rotunda Orthodox Church of St. George. So this here, the Orthodox Rotunda Church of St. George, was not allowed in. It's closed, unfortunately, and but I've noticed a theme here. It's a medieval Orthodox church built on more Roman ruins. This is another part of the Serdica section that we saw earlier. This is built on top of another section. Ruins here. Just shows that history just runs throughout all of our cities and our lives, and some of our cities just don't preserve. Here they come. Here we have the Bulgarian changing of the guard. Behind me now I have a 6th century Byzantine church dedicated to Saint Sophia, the patron saint of this city. And also behind me, next to it, probably better this side, we have the War Memorial of the Unknown Soldier. It's an eternal flame, obviously, to all those soldiers who've died in war for the cause of Bulgaria, who will never know what happened to them. Here we have the St. Navorsky Orthodox Church, one of the largest Orthodox churches in the world, and the largest church here in Sofia and Bulgaria as a whole. It was first started being built in 1802 and was finished in the early 1900s. It is a Neo-Byzantine architectural style, and it has nearly 5,000 average visitors, parishioners, people who go to the church regularly. So it's honestly a marvel of architecture: stone, marble, amazing blue and gold roofs. And I doubt I'll be able to record inside. I'm going to go inside now, have a look around the museum underground in the crypt, hopefully. And if I can take you along with me, I will. But if not, I'll see you after I'm back.
Attention, les trains de la ligne 4 ne marquent pas l'arrêt à la station Gare du Nord jusqu'au mardi 12 juin, à la station Châtelet jusqu'au jeudi 29 mars.
Gare du Nord. Avant de descendre, assurez-vous de ne rien oublier à bord.
Right, and that wraps up day one of my time in Bulgaria, in Sofia. As you saw, the church was really cool. I didn't go in the crypt because it wasn't like a proper crypt. It was, it'd been changed into like a museum. Just for artwork, museum, so not my kind of thing. And tomorrow, I'm not too 100% sure what the plan is, but I'll still be in Sofia. So I will see you tomorrow morning. Right, it is the morning of day 2 here in Bulgaria. The plan is today to head to just outside the city. I'm going to go climb up a hill, go explore an old medieval church, and hopefully find some nice waterfalls to look at. Right, this is Future Charlie. I recorded that video at the start of the day, thinking I was going to do that plan, go up into the mountains, see the monasteries and the churches, and then see the waterfalls. But I got there and it absolutely chucked it down, and it just wasn't a viable option for the day. So as you will see, as the video goes on for day 2, I mostly just spent time finding more ancient ruins around Serdica and exploring metro stations. And a large part of today has been preparing for my travel day tomorrow. Plovdiv, but just enjoy the little footage I've actually got of day 2. Right, I am now at Serdica train station, the metro station. Last time I was here was that there are some of the artifacts from the museum that they found. So most of them were in the museum. During the building of this metro station, they found loads of the Roman artifacts and all the other time periods. So they've all decorated it. There's an exhibition here for if you don't go to the museum. You still get to see a part of the history and the culture of this metro station, which I think is really interesting.
Attention, les trains de la ligne 4 ne marquent pas l'arrêt à la station Gare du Nord jusqu'au mardi 12 juin, à la station Châtelet jusqu'au jeudi 29 mars.
Gare du Nord. Avant de descendre, assurez-vous de ne rien oublier.
So in the ancient Roman town of Serdica that was built before Sofia was here, these would have been your shops, your leatherworkers, your fishmongers, your blacksmiths, all the different village shops now help support the economy and the stability of this town. If you come up over here, you have a large house. This house was just a large manor house, not really a manor house, but it was a larger sized house used by probably some of the wealthier people in the town. And then next to it over here, we have an altar and artifacts from a cult, an ancient Roman cult. They don't know much about what they believed, but they knew it involved sacrifice and lots of birds as well. And I don't know what to make of this carving, but each to their own, figure out what it is. And all of this is kept just like the station is just down there. All of this is just kept in its own preserved area off the road. There's another house over there. There's the main assembly government building of the country we saw yesterday. And it's just all underneath the streets. So I was mistaken, this isn't a house, this is a early church. So built just after the Roman town of Serdica, at the very end of its existence. And obviously, yeah, here had services, would have been a very early form of Orthodox Christian service, which is very interesting. Right, good morning everyone. It is day 3 of my trip in Bulgaria, and today is the day we go to Plovdiv. When I booked this trip, the weather was going to be about 5 degrees, cloudy, bit of rain, so I've got my reasonable stuff. Then I've woken up this morning, and the snow is worse than the UK. So now I've got to travel cross country on a train that looks like it's old enough to be from Harry Potter and do it safely. Also, there was a massive storm arriving, not in this country thankfully, but in the UK at the time my flight home is, specifically around Birmingham. So we're just going to see how the next few days go. But today's plan is get the train to Plovdiv and obviously do what there is to do in Plovdiv.
Attention, les trains de la ligne 4 ne marquent pas l'arrêt à la station Gare du Nord jusqu'au mardi 12 juin, à la station Châtelet jusqu'au...
I have now made it to Sofia Central train station. Let's go hop on the train. After a 4-hour train journey where I thought I was going to miss my stop because there was no signs at any of the stations, no screens on the trains, anything. It was a very old train. I finally made it to the oldest continually inhabited city in Europe, the ancient city of Plovdiv. Right now I'm in an ancient Roman forum built in the 1st century AD, and currently nowadays is also a historical site, but it's also used for modern day festivals and community events. Here you can see a closer look at the forum. The snow has followed me from Sofia and it's starting to fall here now. I thought I was able to avoid it. This here is one of the oldest churches here in Plovdiv. The original building at the back there, the shape of a barn, was built in the 800s, not the 1800s. The bell tower connected to it was built in the 1800s. And it marks the start of the old town Plovdiv. This here is the ancient Roman theatre of Philippoli. It wasn't used for gladiator fights or anything like that. It was generally like a music hall, a concert hall, a place to be social, a place for concerts back in the Roman period. They have an orchestra, all that kind of thing. Built well in the past, in around in the 100s. Here we have the Regional Ethnographic Museum. I'm not going to go in because it doesn't interest me as much, but I just thought it'd be cool to show you the architecture. If you're wondering what I'm saying here, I'm not too sure either. It was so windy that my voice was distorted. What I'm trying to say is I'm at the top of Neptebe, which is an ancient fortress. It was first created in about 6000 BC in the early Iron and late Stone Age. Then a Roman fort was built on top of it. This was the main original layout of the fortress, this square here. And then as you come down here, it was one of the original this isn't one of the original ones. This is a Roman entrance and exit. The path beyond the gate has fallen away over the years, unfortunately. And now you're about to see the well. There was no water source in the fortress, so they had to store it in here. Then you have part of the original wall here that was created in the stone era. And then in the 14th to the 16th century, this little fortress was built here and it was residential. Right, and here we are now arriving at my hostel. This is the bedroom here. My bed is the weird king one in the middle. And here we have the stairs connecting you up and down to the common room. And this is the common area. I am now at the gates of Philippolis. This was the original main entrance to the city, the original city. It was built around the early 47 AD, 40s, 50s AD, around that time period, and it was well preserved and used as the main gate until about the 250s when it was destroyed by the Goth invasion. After that, it was restored by the current power at the time, not to its full glory, and the main gate to the city had obviously moved further away as the city had expanded. However, what still remains still stands. If you look behind me, over here, you'll see we have some residential houses. So the gate would have been along here, and there were residential houses where the start of the town would have started. There are many statues and inscriptions on the pillars. One of them is very important. It's not here anymore. It was sadly broken. So it's kept in a museum. The signs told me about it. There's a couple here. That it was a bilingual inscription in both Greek and Latin, because this was meant to be the gateway to the European section of the Roman Empire, connecting Turkey and the Middle East to Europe. Right, it is the end of day 3 here. I'm just getting ready to be settled into bed here in Plovdiv. Thankfully no one else is in my hostel room yet, so I can get settled in and record this video before I went to sleep. Plovdiv seems like an amazing town. I'm going to go explore a lot more of it tomorrow. But for now, I will see you in day 4. Good morning everyone, it is day 4 of my trip here in Bulgaria and my last full day here in Bulgaria and in the ancient city of Plovdiv. It's a bit windy up here, so I'm not sure how well you can hear the microphone, that's why I'm trying to shield it with my hand. But I'm currently at the top of one of the big main 3 hills of Plovdiv. You've got the lookout and clock tower behind me. I don't know how well you can see it, but we've got a large terrain of mountains along the back there. They look really nice. The plan is for today to explore this big hill, one of the other big hills of Plovdiv, and then maybe the third one, depending if I can see anything interesting on it. So this is the clock tower on the hill. It's not a lookout tower like I thought, unfortunately. I can't go up there. But it was built in the 1600s and was partially demolished and rebuilt in the 1800s. And the main clock inside it is originally from Vienna. And there are the other 2 hills of Plovdiv. That one over there is called Youth Hill, and that one with the statue on doesn't have a name, but the statue I'll tell you more about once I'm up there. I don't think I'll be going to Youth Hill because there's actually much on there besides a child's theme park. The actual top is used for communications, so I think we'll just be going up the one with the statue today.
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walk 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm walking, yes I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you.
I made it to the statue of the Great Army Soldier. This statue was dedicated to all of the Soviet casualties during the liberation of Bulgaria from German rule. You've got a lovely view of the mountains over there. If I zoom in, you can see the clock tower where we were earlier. And if I keep zooming in, trying to find it. There you have Neptebe Fortress where we were yesterday, and somewhere in amongst the old town there is my hostel. Obviously a bit far from there now. It's a nice hike. It's just very long, especially if you stayed in the old town. You've got to cover most of the city. It's amazing views. Right, so that building there is my hostel, and just outside of it here are these Roman pillars. So these were constructed in the 200s to 300s, and it's originally part of a fortress wall that ran along this road here from a fortress that is long gone. And then a couple hundred years later, to 400 to 600 AD, a second wall ran across it as well, some of these pillars. So you've got some slightly older ones there from the first wall, you've got some slightly newer ones from the newer wall, that's from the older wall, and they were just marked out. At the city, obviously, a lot of it now has been buried under all the houses and stuff. It is now the final night of my time here in Bulgaria. I have very much enjoyed myself. There isn't much footage for day 4. I haven't been up to that much because I was just wandering around the town. Obviously, you've seen all the historical stuff I've seen today in the hills. I would highly recommend Bulgaria. It's a nice country. It can feel a bit unsafe at night. However, it's still reasonably safe, it's reasonably cheap, and it's very easy to navigate. The people seem quite nice, a bit rough around the edges, but they're still very nice. And yeah, I've very much enjoyed my time here. And I will see you tomorrow morning now, for when I get back on the plane and travel back home to the UK.
In this moment,